Hello fellow YouTubers, this is the Canadian Greek and I'm making this follow-up video to my original alert C2012S1 Ison, not what NASA says. I want to begin this video with a reply to a commenter on my previous video who suggested that it was the comma that was being measured in my previous video and not the nucleus, and therefore it can't possibly be as big as I suggest. So let's start with this. In astronomy, a comma, from the Greek komi, is the nebulous envelope around the nucleus of a comet. It is formed when a comet passes close to the Sun on its highly elliptical orbit. As the comet warms, parts of it sublimate. This gives a comet a fuzzy appearance when viewed in telescopes and distinguishes it from stars. The comma is generally made of ice and dust. Water dominates up to 90% of the volatiles that outflow from the nucleus when the comet is within 3 to 4 AU. That's important. 3 to 4 AU, not 3 to 5, not 3 to 6. A comet has to be within a certain distance of the Sun before it starts to warm up enough or to heat up enough to start outgassing. Okay? That's important. Let's move along. Determining the mass and composition of comet C2012S1 Ison is critical in estimating the effect of this sun-diving comet on the inner solar system and on inner solar system planets and asteroids. This video will seek to theorize that comet C2012S1 Ison, or NEO AS03D20, its first and secret designation, is the same size and mass as the planet Neptune, a class of planet known as ice giant, as opposed to the gas giants Jupiter and Saturn. Here we have an image of Neptune in comparison with Earth. In one of the earliest photos of Ison, it was 50,000 kilometers in diameter, the same as Neptune. The latest photo of comet C2012S1 Ison provided by NASA in the Hubble telescope gives no real information on its mass, density, or size. The blue image does show, here we go, the blue image does show the core has become very active and has expanded the coma and developed the tail. No scale was given, so we have to take NASA's word on how big it is. NASA stated the coma is only 3,100 miles in diameter. Okay. The dust tail, however, extends over 57,000 miles, far beyond Hubble's field of view. This huge tail from the comet so far out in frozen space means that it can't be water vapor like our traditional dirty snowball. It must be sublimating carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. There is no spectroscopic data available from the light coming from the tail. This is suspicious because it should be available, and if it supported a dirty snowball theory, it would be forthcoming. What could be outgassing so easily? Okay. First of all, there's two things that I also want to mention to this. They're saying now that the coma is 3,100 kilometers. Okay. How can that be when we have previous pictures that show otherwise? Even if that was the coma, that's 50,000 kilometers in diameter. Okay. Even if that was the coma and not the actual object itself, then how can it be 3,100 kilometers now, or 3,100 miles, or whatever it says here, right? How can that be? They're going against themselves here. They're making this easier for me to prove. How can it be 3,100 miles when their previous picture at 5.5 AU said it was 50,000 miles. Okay, moving on. Well, Neptune's atmosphere is primarily composed of the gases hydrogen, helium, and methane that will boil at very low temperature. Take a look at the very early photograph at a range of 5.5 AU, kept out of the MSM of the mainstream media. Okay, note this photograph was taken close to the record for the furthest away comet ever detected. The scale at 5.5 AU indicates it's 50,000 kilometers in diameter, the same as Neptune's. And we all remember this photograph. I'm sure if you've seen my previous video, you know what this is. This is comet C2012 Ison, S1 Ison, taken in January 13th. This is Ison. 30 arc seconds is the measurement given, and this is about half that, so it's about 15 arc seconds in diameter, which makes it 50,000 kilometers. Okay, gives it a diameter of 50,000 kilometers, 4 times Earth's diameter. Okay, scale 30 arc seconds, and it has moons and trash, and that's a pretty big moon. Okay, so how can it be in this? This is also NASA's photograph, by the way, and they're the ones that give us a scale of 30 arc seconds. Okay, that makes this 50,000 kilometers in diameter. And now what? And all of a sudden, now what? It shrank. Now it's no longer 50,000 kilometers, but now it is 3,100 miles, right? Okay. Let's continue. Now, the internal structure of Neptune is as follows. Upper atmosphere, top clouds. Okay. Atmosphere consisting of hydrogen, helium, methane gas. Mantle consisting of water, ammonia, and methane ices. Okay, and a core consisting of rock, silicates, and nickel iron. Now we have a working model of what Ison is, and we can make some assumptions on what its effect on the solar system will be. Okay. It is unprecedentedly massive as far as traditional comets go, but not the worst case scenario as a solid sphere of silicate iron would be. Its silicon iron core will be at the order of maybe 1.2 times the mass of Earth. The most dangerous aspect is its retinue. Neptune has 12 known irregular shaped moons and one spherical, Triton. That's 2,706 kilometers in diameter, orbiting at approximately 355,000 kilometers from Neptune. There is no danger of Ison or any of its large moons impacting Earth based on its current orbit, which is extremely unlikely to change by any substantial degree, unless the huge coma and tail take on a solar sail or electrical effect that introduces non-gravitational forces. The smaller moons and trash collected from the Kuiper Belt and the asteroid belt are another story. They will be in chaotic orbits, and no doubt the military supercomputers are crunching away and trying to model any potential Earth colliders. The current meteor storm affecting Earth will get much worse. As it moves in, the frigid outer layers will stream out, increasing the volume of the coma and tail. Sudden and dramatic outbursts are expected as the layers of its hot internal structure boil away into the coma and tail until the solid core remains for perigee. It will perturb Mars's orbit slightly, but a rough calculation on gravitational force between it and Mars gives a scalar value approximately 1% of the force between the Sun and Mars, so it won't be towing Mars away, as some have speculated, me included. However, that this is all guesswork from here on because we have no actual data. So I'm making a best guess. Its electrical and magnetic effects on the planets will be unprecedented. Neptune has a quad-polar magnetic field, and Ison's will be as strong or stronger as its internal dynamo is energized by close proximity to the Sun. It may very well produce the kill shot CME, which has been predicted also by Major Ed Dames. Okay, you guys can look that up, find out who he is. As it rockets around the back of the Sun, as viewed from Earth. I believe it as bright and as big as the Sun when it emerges from before cooling and shrinking as it moves back out into outer space. Our world will be a different place by then, as the grid slowly returns, the asteroid storms and earthquakes and volcanic eruptions subside. So that's basically it. It's coming, folks. Are you ready? 3-year supply, food and water. Prepare. We've got some time. They're not telling us the truth. They're not going to tell you the truth to prepare. If they announced this today, who would go to work tomorrow? Economies would collapse. Everything would be in chaos. But I'm telling you, prepare. By the way, this is all best guess because we don't have the actual data from NASA. They're not going to tell you shit. But this is as close as I can come to being as accurate as I could be of how this thing is reacting. The very fact that it has such a large tail so early. This is a best guess scenario, people. That's the best I can do. Prepare. This is the Canadian Greek signing off.